Ready?
Non-24.
We're doing breaths? Nah, I don't even. I feel like I get too relaxed.
Just riff in. Let's go.
Hi guys, welcome back to this episode of Path of Purpose. We are here with the Brotherhood team, and just like you, we are walking on a journey to unlocking ways to live a life of purpose.
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone, the Path of Purpose, and we have a special guest, James, sweet as honey. Nailed it, yeah. So he's a professional fighter. He has a world championship in kickboxing. He's ranked number 3 in Muay Thai for his division. So he's very high level, and we're very grateful and appreciative to have him and help. He's going to help spread his knowledge and value. He's learned all throughout his years and all throughout his life. So we might even just start with a bit of background on you through a question of like, how did you get into fighting to begin with?
Yeah, so I used to love watching the early days of the UFC, like when I was maybe 12, 13 years old, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And I remember I'd tell everyone, I'm going to be in the UFC, before anyone even knew what that was. So I'm going to be in the UFC. I hadn't even started training yet, and I used to say that. And then, so I finally went to an MMA gym and started training. And then, yeah, that's how I pretty much got into it. But as I was training for my first MMA fight, I started training Muay Thai for the stand-up and fell in love with it. And then had an MMA fight, turned me off it, and then went straight to Muay Thai after that, and I never looked back. Yeah. So that's how I got into it.
What stood out for you about Muay Thai? Like, and what did you get from it? Or
to be honest, it was more the traditions of Muay Thai that made me fall in love with it, as well as the training. But
and for people that don't probably know what the traditions are and what Muay Thai is, like, how would you go about explaining that?
So in Muay Thai, you pay respect to your trainers and your gym a lot, and to the elders of Muay Thai. And like every time you fight, you bow to like bless the ring, bless the gym, bless your trainers, and everything's sort of done with that sort of purpose going into the ring. And then like you seal the ring, it's meant to protect you from any bad spirits.
Really?
Yeah, that's when you fight. So just all that side of it, I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And like all the traditional Thai tattoos, the sakyans, like they all mean protection and stuff. And I fell in love with it from an early age. And then when I first went to Thailand, I was like, wow, this is the best. So just never looked back.
Yeah, it's very like, seems like, respect and honor and like, that's that sort of like old school samurai to a degree,
And it's a bit different to MMA. Like MMA, they would be shit talking at the weigh-ins, and even back in the day, they still would at the press conferences. And then I seen Muay Thai, and they were all humble and respectful, and I was like, I like that. That's me. So sort of went down that venture.
Yeah, that's cool. That's epic. What have you learnt so far in your journeys of like Muay Thai that sort of like you can extract it and it helps you in real day life? Like, maybe, I think I even seen on your Instagram something about learning from your losses.
For sure.
Yeah, and how it can help with the emotions in life. Like, how's the interface between Muay Thai and then how you show up in your everyday life sort of connected?
I feel like there's so many aspects of Muay Thai that you can transition into your life. Like, for example, you mentioned the one I put up about losing. Like, you can't control the outcome in life with pretty much everything. So same as a fight, you might lose some, you might win some. It doesn't really matter. It's how you respond to it, how you react to it. So you can obviously translate that into your life.
Yeah.
But also the wins too. The wins can get to your head. So you got to try and stay humble and just same as anything in life.
So when you win, do you feel like your ego is boosted?
Yeah, not too much.
Yeah.
Not too
much.
Much.
How do you control that, I guess?
Yeah, so it's an exciting time for that night. The next day I wake up and everything's back to normal, to be honest. But that night you feel pretty good. Can't sleep that well after a big win. But Cass would know that feeling.
For sure.
Really?
But the next day you wake up and it's sort of back to normal. Yeah.
Do you feel like it was always like that? You mentioned that, you thought you'd been in the UFC before you even started training. Did you start to handle losses and wins differently as your career progressed?
Yeah, definitely. To be fair, I used to crack it if I lost. Not in public, but I just used to beat myself up about it. Now, I'm completely fine if I lose. Obviously, losses suck, but you can always learn something from them, and that's probably where you learn the most is from when you lose. So I just try to take something from every fight that I have, whether it be win or loss, and learn from it.
I can relate to that. I think do you ever feel guilty about that? There's been times where I've lost and I don't, I feel like I fought well, so I'm not overly upset about it, and I feel guilty about that. Do you?
100%. 100%. As long as you've fought well, and especially when you're fighting hard opponents, you're gonna lose. You know what I mean? It's part of the sport. So as long as I've given my all and I know I've trained hard in that camp, I don't care.
Yeah, that's a great lesson. And probably something to more learn would probably be the technical side of things where it may have went wrong. But if you felt like you showed up to your best of ability, then it's like how can you beat yourself up? There's no point.
I think that relates back to life too. For anyone listening, it's like if you go after something that's actually truly challenging, you can't always expect to win.
Yeah,
and then you've got to take the winning mindset either way.
100%. And that's something that fighting transitions into life as well.
Yeah.
And another thing as well, the confidence that Muay Thai gives you in everyday life as well, just because you're constantly put in uncomfortable situations. Like you might go to Thailand for the first time, you're in a completely new gym, all new people, they try to put it on you. But you show up and you're still there, and once you show yourself and that you can actually move around, they start to respect you. And it's like going and starting a new job. You're so nervous when you go there, but then really it's not so bad.
Yeah.
So it's very similar, Muay Thai and in life.
Yeah, if you show up and do your best. Something that Muay Thai is known for is the pain. You're inflicting pain on yourself and on others, I should say, and then you're also receiving pain. How do both you guys how do you go about dealing with pain? And keep on going, or what's your relationship with that physical pain?
In the fight, it's you don't really feel it, to be honest. The adrenaline's pumping, but if you're not mentally prepared, and say if you get cut, you'll probably look to quit straight away.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of mental work going into the fight. I just tell myself whether I get hurt, dropped, cut, no matter what it is, I'm going to fight as hard as I can.
Yeah.
So if it does happen, which it does all the time, unfortunately, then I know I can keep going and it doesn't faze me. But the next couple of days is when the pain really starts to set in, I reckon. Sometimes you wake up the next day after a fight and you're in so much pain, especially I fought in December when I got these 3 cuts, and you wake up the next day and you're just fuck.
Yeah,
my head hurts.
But what about, let's say, like training and showing up and niggles and knowing that my body's a bit sore, but you maybe you show up and still do it anyway. How do you sort of counteract that relationship with pain, I guess?
Yeah, so again, it just comes down to mental capacity, I think. So many days I'd rather not go to training because I'm so sore, but you just have to push through. And also, as I've gotten older, I've started to listen to my body a bit more because with injuries, you start to get a bit smarter. So there's a time to push, but there's also a time to peel it back and maybe just go, all right, I'm going to have a cruisy session and just rest and recover. But I think there's that fine line as well because you feel guilty not training. Yeah. So,
and that mental capacity that you're touching on, do you do anything in particular to develop your mental capacity?
It's just developed over time. Yeah, with the more fights that I had. To be fair, it took me about 15 fights to not get nervous before a fight. And don't get me wrong, I still get nerves now, but I would literally be shitting myself before I fought. I'd be out the back going, I'm never doing this again. This is the last time.
Yeah, right.
And then I'd fight, and I'm like, it wasn't so bad. That was actually really fun. And then the older I got and the more experience I had, the better I dealt with it. So I never really did anything particular, but it was just the more fights that I had, I learned to deal with my emotions a bit better. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's good.
There's no teacher like that.
Yeah.
Tell us about your visualization practices. You sort of mentioned that a couple of times. That's sort of on the similar kind of.
Yeah, that is. I always visualize myself walking out to the fight. Like, to be fair, I actually do it when I first get to the arena. So I visualize myself getting to the arena, being out the back, hitting pads, and just trying to make myself as nervous as possible. So I sort of put myself in the same mindset as when I'm at the fight. Right as I'm walking out, as my name's getting announced, the only thing I don't really try to visualize too much is the fight, just because you never know what's going to happen. If you get stuck on something and it doesn't happen, it could throw you off in the actual fight. So I just try to visualize coming back to my corner, listening, going back out, starting the round. And then I always visualize getting my hand raised. And if you have a title, fighting for a title, getting that wrapped around your waist. But yeah, just trying to make myself as nervous as possible. So then on the actual night of the fight, I'm calm. Because I've already been there, I've already done it.
Yeah, that's interesting. You try to make yourself like nervous, like
That's bringing power to the visualization. It's
Yeah.
not just oh, I'm just gonna think about this. No, it's like I'm gonna feel this. I'm gonna actually try and experience it.
But would you not try to visualize it and try to be like calm, or is it like you're nervous but then you're calm as well? Like
Yeah, I don't know. I think I try to make myself nervous, and so then all my nerves are out by the time that I fight, because it works for me. When I fight, I've got no nerves. Like when I'm walking out, I'm completely calm. So I've always done that just because I know how I'm going to feel on fight night. But
that's cool.
It's because you've been there mentally. Yeah,
that
makes
and
sense.
to be fair, sometimes it's a bit of a letdown when you win, because it's like, I've already been here. I've done this.
Yeah.
I remember I fought in Dubai February last year, and I fought for a glory world champion, Harat Gregorian, massive name in kickboxing, probably my biggest fight ever to date. And I beat him, and it was exciting, but I'd already visualized it so many times. It wasn't like,
You'd already lived it.
yeah. So yeah, it was a weird feeling, that one.
Yeah.
How would you like say that? Obviously, you need both, but do you feel like that's just as important as your physical training?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I think the mental, I always say to fighting's 80% mental, 20% physical, because you see it happen more often than not. The people that are the best in the gym aren't always the best in the fight, because they just can't put together the mental game. So,
When the lights are on, it's a different story with
very.
Fighting and anything, like a lot of anything in life that's got pressure.
I think life is like that. It's like if you get out of your own way, you're going to be able to do whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's like a lot of times
100%.
you just let nerves and fear get in the way of anything. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
it's very cool to hear.
It's like the fear of failure, and like it's also something I've got to be able to transition from fighting, because I can do it in fighting, but into my everyday life as well. That's always a battle. You know what I mean?
The fear of failure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So one day when I move from fighting into business, it'll be the same sort of venture. I'll have to focus on that, but
Get used to failing. What's that feeling like when you get a fight announced, like the contract signed, like this is happening in this many weeks? Like, is there like a feeling or a sudden change within yourself, or what's that like?
The bigger and better the opponent, the more excited I get.
Really?
Yeah, they scare the shit out of me, but that's the fights that I want. I don't like fights where I'm like, I could probably win this fight. I like the fights going, that's a hard fight. I've got to train my ass off to be able to win this fight.
It's going to bring the best out of you.
So yeah, 100%. But yeah, that's the exciting feeling. When it gets announced, then I've switch my mindset over to, all right, this is the only thing that matters, is winning this fight, and then I just go from there.
Yeah. Does life feel like it gets a lot simpler to a degree?
For sure.
Yeah.
Cass would know. When you're in fight camp, you only have your fight to focus on. So I feel like life's easy. When I'm out of camp, my mind does marathons, just constantly overticking. But when I'm in camp, I'm only thinking about the fight, thinking about training, recovering, food, the fight. That's it. So there's no distractions. I don't know. I like being in fight camp, as weird as it is. I like being in fight camp.
Everything gets better, I think. For me, like, I just feel like life gets so much better. Yeah.
How do you feel like you guys would deal with that once fighting's done? Do you feel like you have to set yourself goals, or like?
For sure. Got to find another passion 100% got to find another passion, but also be able to put my knowledge and energy into someone else, like a team full of fighters. I think I'd be able to get the same feelings, but just out of other fighters. So hopefully open a gym. That's the plan.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
You're similar to me with coaching. Do you feel like that's helped your fighting and helped you?
100%.
Just even helped you develop as a person?
Yeah, for sure. Like, because you're always trying to think of, if you would have had long-term clients that you've trained for ages, if you keep training them the same thing over and over, they're going to stop coming to you. So you're constantly upping your game because you're trying to think of new things to show these people.
Yeah.
And obviously you deal with people from all aspects of life, so you grow as a person as well. It's good. I love coaching just as much as I do fighting, to be fair.
And that's your transition, do you think?
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see. I've always my plan's always been to open a gym.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
It's going to be in fighting there.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
That's cool that you got that passion for it.
Yeah. I feel like if I've given my whole life to this, it'd be stupid to walk off and go do something else.
Yeah.
And then I would feel lost. At least this way, if I have a gym, I can put all my time into the gym and I'm still around fighting for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I had a look through your Instagram as well, and I seen you talk about sobriety, like being sober.
Yeah.
What's the journey like being there, and how have you felt since you've got sober, or what's the journey there?
So I was never a big drinker, but just after a fight, I'd always celebrate. It'd be like the first thing. I'd nearly be more excited to celebrate than the actual fight. So, and then I had an epiphany. I was in a float tank, and I was like, fuck, every time I fight, I just party for like a week after it, and it just brings me back down to square one. I've just gone up and up and up, and then I've just gone straight back to square one. So I'm like, I'm going to stop drinking until I win a world title. And I won a world title, but I still haven't had a drink. I am actually going to have a drink after this next fight, just because I promised it to myself. And then I'm going to go back to being sober. But I've grown more in these last 3 years than I have in the last 27 before that.
From not drinking.
From not drinking, I think I've just matured a lot. I've been able to focus on the important things in life and realise I don't just have to go and have a drink to have fun.
Yeah, where do you think the drinking was like taking away from things or distracting things, and then where's the like change been with being sober?
Yeah, so after a fight, I feel like the drinking would just bring me back to being unfit again, and obviously you're just going to eat shit food because you've been drinking. So I'd put on a heap of weight after a fight. I didn't have the motivation to get back in the gym, so it'd always be a slow turnaround to get back in the gym. And then after being sober, like I'd actually hydrate after my fight, eat some good food, recover the next day, and then I could be back training by Wednesday. So I'd just keep building on every fight camp rather than going all the way up, all the way down, all the way up. I just keep going up, 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 up. Yeah. And I feel like that's what I've done in the last 3 years, and I feel like my fights are something to show from that. So,
yeah, cool.
Do you think that's the drinking or a mindset shift? Because you kind of mentioned it was the world title, which is a longer term goal. And prior to that, you may have been just going fight to fight, whereas actually getting clearer on what you wanted.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I think I've always had the goal of being world champion. So it was always there. It was just, I was sort of half in, half out. And I decided to go 100% in because I actually had a chat to Chad, and he was like, you don't want to look back when you're older and regret being in your prime and not giving 100%. And I said, you know what, you're 100% right. So from that point on, I was like, I'm going to give everything I got to the fight game and try to take it as far as I can. And that was even stopping work as much. Like I dropped back my work to 3 days a week and just doing enough to get by and just training full time. And but definitely a mindset flip as well, just to really dial in on everything.
So just on that, you mentioned Chad. He's, for anyone that doesn't know, Chad Collins, he unified all the belts, all the world titles. He's legend of the sport. How important is that circle of influence?
Yeah, it's so good. Like I'm very lucky. The people I have around me are top tier fighters. So Chad's 5-time world champion. He's literally done everything in the sport. So to be able to feed off that energy as well in the gym, it's pretty special. But yeah, just you have to learn from everybody. So there's other boys in the gym that haven't done what Chad's done, but I still learn off them as well. And I think they can take something away from me as well. So
It's a growth mindset.
yeah.
Cool.
How good is the gym as well? Just to, like, when you think about life in the world, like people come into Brotherhood and people go to Muay Thai gyms, and it's just like this place of like self-development and growth, which trickles out into the rest of your life, and also like, just helps develop you and create bonds and all that stuff. Like, I was just thinking, how important is those places in life, eh? Like if you didn't have Muay Thai, like,
I don't know
you'd be
where
lost,
I'd be. And I always think that. I always think, what would I be doing if I didn't start training Muay Thai? Like, I think I'd always do something, but you just never know. It's very easy to go down the wrong path.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky that I've always had Muay Thai to come back to, because some of my mates have gone down the wrong path.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that I didn't go that way.
What have you got any like health tips or maybe like unique things you do to sort of help be your best self, I guess? Like,
this is sort of come out into the public a bit more now. You boys might even do it. But I tape my mouth every night when I sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But when I first started telling people that, they were like, what?
Yeah. People were like, I've got to die.
Yeah. Because I've been doing that for probably 2.5 years, 3 years. But that's something unique, I reckon. But it's probably a bit more mainstream now. Something unique or health tips. I can't think.
Would you have a morning routine or anything?
Yeah, I usually wake up, I just do Wim Hof breathing nearly every morning. And then I've been journaling lately, of late. I haven't for a long time, but as of late I have been. And then,
And what does that look like for you? Is it, you don't have to go into depth, obviously, what you say, but is there a structure?
There's a structure. So one of the boys that I know, he actually makes his own journals, and it's just got preset questions. Just fill out the same. It's like 3 things you're grateful for and stuff like that. It's good. And like a morning mantra, and I always write, even though it might not be a mantra, but I'm going to beat Josh Hill August 16. And that's my mantra for the next 8 weeks,
Just putting that into your subconscious.
Yeah, and just reading it every day.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool.
It's pretty sick for all of our, like you basically live the way that we, coach here at Brotherhood, which is cool because we've got a world champion telling us how beneficial it is.
Journaling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So make sure you do it, lads.
Got journals right here.
That's
the first question is like 3 things you're grateful for.
It's the best thing to do. I've done it a lot in the past, and then I sort of come away from it probably 6 months, but the last month or so I've been back into it, so it's been good. Yeah.
And you said you were getting married in September.
Yeah, September. Yeah.
And how important is it for you to have a supportive partner?
Very important. Like, without her, she's going to be happy that I say this, but without her, I'll be stuffed. Yeah. She does everything for me. She cooks when I'm in camp. Yeah. She's there if I need to talk to, but it's so helpful. Yeah. So helpful. I don't know what I'd do. Yeah.
She'd be rocking your life, eh? Yeah. It's just, so important to have good relationships, in your life, eh?
100%.
Yeah.
Celebrate fights together?
What do you mean by celebrate?
Well, I mean, like, it seems like obviously a team effort together.
Yeah, we do. But we, like, nearly every fight, we'll go away for the weekend.
Sick.
And that's our
cool.
celebration.
Yeah.
We'll go pig out on food.
Yeah.
Go for nice dinners, and that's our celebration. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And like, she come over to Dubai with me last year, and we had like a mini holiday. And so every time I fight overseas, she comes over, and then we try to make into it a little bit of a holiday. So
yeah, mate,
that's good. Yeah.
Epic. How good.
Yeah.
What's like, I guess you mentioned before how hard the training is, which it is. Like, it definitely is. It's very brutal on the body. How do you manage that mindset, like you said before, of going too hard or pulling back or whatever? Is there something that gives you a key indicator where you go, today's the day I got to pull back? Or
I would like to say it's just how I feel on that day, but I feel shit every day, so I wouldn't do any training if that was the case. Yeah. But I just, like, if I'm starting to get little niggles, that's when I sort of think, I'm just going to pull back and focus on recovery today. Yeah. But to be fair, Peasy's pretty good with me. That's my trainer, Peasy. If he's starting to feel that I'm a bit slower on that day, he'll be like, just have an easy night, and then I'll pull back. So again, having a good connection with my coach, and he can read me as well. Some days I'm firing on all cylinders. Sometimes I'll be firing on one or two.
Also, that's the trust of him knowing you're not a
100%.
pussy.
Yeah, 100%. Then we've been together now since I moved to the coast, so that's 7 years. So we've been together for 7 years. I've had probably over 30 fights with him, so he knows me. He knows that I'll train as hard as I can when I can. If I need a rest, then I should rest.
So creating a really solid work ethic and knowing that you're not that pussy allows you to take days off without feeling guilty. Yeah.
Still feel like a pussy, but
Yeah.
Really?
it's in that constant battle with your own mind of I should be training. And when you know that you need the rest, but you're at home and you're going, I should be training. It's hard.
How do you, I know for me, I watch a lot of study and stuff like that. Do you similar boat? Yeah,
for sure.
So when you can't train, you're thinking.
Yeah. I watch a lot of fights. That afternoon when I'm not training, I'm watching fights. Yeah.
It's a thinking man's game, eh? Everyone just thinks it's brute force. And
Muay Thai?
Yeah. I mean, it's brutal. It's definitely brutal,
So
but you got to be smart.
When you're watching it, you just sort of, are you trying to pick up on patterns or just anything?
To be fair, I watch a lot of like instructional videos as well from like fighters that I like. If they do seminars, and people post seminars online now, so I'll pick up a couple of things, and I won't watch the whole seminar, but I'll pick up a couple of things. I'm like, oh, I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
Or I'll just watch old fights, Thai fighters that I love, and just sort of watch what they do and then try to mimic it in training.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
How do you remain a student?
I just feel like I can always be better. And I think that's an ego thing too. You can't have too big of an ego, because if you think you're the man, then you don't want to learn. You know what I mean? But I've never thought that. I've always thought that I can always improve. So, especially when you're fighting world class, I think you got to keep learning.
Yeah, and the game's evolving too.
100%.
What's your why?
Good question. I like to push myself, and I like to push myself to see how far I can go. And I've always wanted to make, for example, my parents and my family proud as well. So I want to fight for them as well. But I just like to push myself, and I don't want to be ordinary, which is a big thing.
And within yourself personally, in your journey of fighting and life, where do you think the biggest growth for you has happened?
Since I went sober, to be fair.
Yeah.
And as I said to you, I wasn't even a big drinker, but it just allowed me to really focus on Muay Thai and growing as a human. And I feel like my maturity went up, my people skills went up, got fitter, stronger, everything just changed. So.
And where do you feel like the next step of growth is for you?
It's a hard question. I feel like I won't know until I look back on it, and I'm like, that was when I started getting even more growth out of life. But we'll have to check back in a couple of years and I'll be able to tell you.
Yeah.
Some ripping questions just Is there any behind the scenes stories? Because I know weight carts, there's some gnarly things that are a part of the sport at the same time, getting carts, all of these sort of things. Is there any stories that you've got that you can share? Fighting in Thailand, anything like that?
Yeah, I've got heaps of stories. To think off the top of my head's quite hard. But so a funny one is I was in Thailand. I was over there for 6 months, and I was on a bit of a tear, but it was just on the local scene. And so they took me to Bangkok, and I actually fought in Ayutthaya. Have you ever seen the kickboxer movie? And he fights at the old temples. I actually fought there, so that was a cool place. But my trainer was like, you fight this guy and you beat him easy, you knock him out, he's got no chin. I was like, oh, sweet. I was like, so if you don't know in Muay Thai, if you say you've got no chin, it means you get knocked out easy. So I'm like, sweet, I'm going to bash this guy.
Perfect.
Anyways, I trained hard for it, as I always do. And a couple of the other boys went early, and I had to catch a bus by myself from Phuket to Ayutthaya, and it took 18 hours on a bus. And I didn't have any money to get a plane ticket, so I just did it. And they're like, they're going to wake you up in the middle of the night, and you got to get off the bus, and then you got to get a tuk-tuk. I'm like, oh, all right. So anyways, I'm sleeping on this bus, and they come and wake me up, and it's 3 a.m. Get off the bus in Ayutthaya. Nobody could understand me. I'm trying to say Ayutthaya. I don't even know if that's how you say it. was about a 20-minute tuk-tuk drive. No one could understand me, so I couldn't get there. Finally got to the room, and anyways, that was a stuff round in the trip there. But in the fight, I was shitting myself before it. I seen the guy kicking pads in shadow, and before it, I was like, wow, he's strong. So first round comes out, and he was an animal. He cut me, my first ever cut. I still got this guy here. First ever cut, and I didn't know that I got cut. I just felt that I got elbowed really hard, and it was squirting onto my glove, and I'm like, oh shit. And then he head kicked me. This is in the second round. He head kicked me, and I'd never been dropped before this, and he dropped me, and it felt like I was hanging onto a PlayStation controller, and it was vibrating, and I'm standing back up. Yeah. I'm like, yep, I'm sweet to go, and he comes running at me with a flying knee.
Oh.
And I made it through the second round. I think it was the third round. The ref waved it off. I had too much blood in my eyes. And I said to my trainer, I'm like, you told me he was no good. And he goes, oh, no, I know he beat you 100%. I was like,
really?
bro.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He was trying to
he was trying to G me up. And I was like, I would have been better to know if he was really, really good so I could mentally prepare for it.
Yeah.
So... yeah, there's heaps of funny stories like that, but that's always a good one. My first cut, my first time actually getting stopped as well.
Yeah.
So.
What's your favourite fight? Do you have a favourite one?
Yeah, I do. My favourite fight would probably be I fought in a 4-man on Rise in Brisbane, and it was like all 4 of us were top 20 in the world at the time, and I fought the first fight and got through it quite easily and just fought safe. And then the second fight, I fought David Penapede. He was currently ranked like 5 in the world at the time. And I was an underdog. I was ranked 20, so I was the least highest ranked in that division at the time. And going into that fight, yeah, everybody counted me out. And I think I won the first 2 rounds, and David probably won the third round. But in the third round, he snapped my nose, cut me on top of my head as well. Anyways, I thought I'd won, so I didn't worry. I'm like, yeah, sweet, just won this fight. And we go back, and then my coach said to me, he goes, they're going to do a 4th round. And I'm like, a 4th round? Like, there was not even a thought of an extension round, but because it was a tournament, there had to be a winner. Couldn't be a draw.
Yeah, right.
And I thought, oh, all right. So I just started G'ing up for a 4th round. And anyways, they announced, yeah, it's going to be a 4th round. Just had my nose broken, completely sideways, by the way. If you can see it, it's still bent. Went back to the corner, got some instruction, went back out, probably put on the best round of the whole fight. And the whole round, I was just spitting blood on him because the blood was just going in my mouth and I couldn't breathe through my nose. I'm just spitting blood at him.
Damn.
And yeah, that was probably my favourite fight. Just everybody was counting me out. They actually had betting odds, and I was the biggest roughie out of all of that.
Really?
So to come through and win it, yeah, I was stoked.
I remember watching that. It was a sick 4-man to watch.
Yeah, it was good.
And the boys went to war before you.
Oh, they did. David and Jay went to war, so he had a hard fight. He had a hard fight before that, but
so you fought 3 times that night?
Two times. Yeah.
2 and an extra round.
Yeah, 2 and an extra round without knowing. The extra round was sweet, because again, it comes down to my mental game. I always like to think that I'm quite mentally strong, and you don't really know until you're put into a situation like that. Like, you have no other option.
Go on another round.
I said, all right, let's go.
I wonder how he was feeling.
Yeah, well, he would have been in a bit of strife too, but he turned it on as well. So
yeah.
That's something that I want to do one day. How's the gap in between the fights?
Too long. Too long, because you get adrenaline, obviously, and then it dumps, and then you cool down completely, and then you got to warm back up again. Yeah, you get sore. Yeah. And
perfect.
And then you got to fight again. I've done it a couple of times. I fought twice in one night, 2 times now. But the first time I stopped the guy in the first round, so that was quite good.
Yeah, that goes a long way in those tournaments.
Yeah.
What's your ultimate goal with the fighting?
I just want to keep fighting the best people in the world. Like, obviously the world titles are fruits of the labour, but I just want to fight the best people in the world. I don't care too much for the titles. I know to the outside world and to sponsors and stuff, it's always good to look back and have world titles there, but for myself, I just want to fight the best people I can.
What's your thoughts on people that are want to win the world title, but they want to be real picky with their fights? They want to kind of don't go over the rough rocks. They want to
Sugar Sean approach.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, what's your thoughts on that? Like, treating it as like, I don't know whether that's more like a business style or like whatever, but like, what's your
It definitely is. I feel like we call it padding your record. It's big in boxing. It's not really so big in Muay Thai, but I think it's going to come into it because as it becomes a business, you obviously want to build yourself up. So, and as you see in boxing, like the zero, the no losses is such a big thing. So they can really sell fights on who's going to lose their O. But in Muay Thai, it's not really like that. No. People know if they've had hard fights and they respect that. Whether you've won or lost and you've given your best, they sort of respect the opponent more than whether you won or lost. So
yeah, that should probably be more of like how the respect's being paid. It's like, who did these guys fight rather than what is their record.
What was your first fight like that? Because I know like as a Westerner, you don't get as many fights in as these Thais and stuff like that. And these guys get really good names and stuff like that. Was there a fight where you went, oh fuck, I'm in the deep end now, you know?
Yeah. Probably I fought a guy, he's going to crack up at this, Brown Penis. That's actually his name. You remember him?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So he was a one championship fighter.
Yeah.
And I was still fighting on the Australian level, but I had a fight here on the Gold Coast locked in with David Penapede, but then he pulled out and then they got me Brown Penis and I was stoked because that's like my first. And he was my first world class opponent and first international opponent brought to Australia for me. So I was like, oh, this is a massive fight, a massive opportunity to show what I've got. So yeah, and I won that fight and it was probably one of my best fights to date. So I was happy with that.
It's a big win. Was that was Warren Shaw?
Warren
right?
Shaw. Did you fight on that show?
No, I didn't fight. I remember watching it, but did that get postponed? What was the one?
Nah, that me and David got postponed on the day.
Yeah, so it did a weight cut.
Yeah.
Went through it all. How did you go mentally with that? And then
postponed.
It was snap lockdown, COVID.
On the day, I was out for breakfast. And then I got a call and they said, the fight show's off. And I said, what do you mean the fight show's off? It's COVID, snap lockdown. We're not fighting. And like it was my trainer's show. Had the casino booked and they just started setting up. They were finished setting up. And then that happened. Yeah. So that was
How were your emotions there?
Yeah. There's nothing you can do. Obviously you're angry, but there's literally nothing you can do. You can't change it. So you have to deal with it. Probably didn't deal with it the best. This is when I was a bit immature. So just went and got on the piss.
Yeah.
As you do. But yeah, that was it.
Muay Thai is a very like aggressive sport, do you think? Like, yeah, I'm sure
parts we're both just looking.
Yeah. Like
burning holes through with our eyes.
And but do you find it's good to be able to control that aggression? Because I think guys a lot in life, like anger's a natural emotion, you know?
Those guys that see red.
Yeah. So do you feel like Muay Thai helps sort of control anger, like, and channel it, or like?
For sure. I think it's definitely an outlet. Because I don't know where I would be if I didn't have something to go and do every afternoon. Like, and I would definitely be an angry person. And as you would know, after training, you feel so good, and you're not angry at all. So definitely helps me control my emotions, and I feel like I'm definitely a calmer person when I'm in fight camp, when I've got something to focus on.
Yeah, it's there's a big part of learning that those emotions don't help you in those situations.
100%. Like being full angry.
I think that's the stoicism that fighters kind of have to have.
Yeah,
you can't be affected by any kind of.
And it takes you a few sparring sessions to realise that in the early days.
Anger's a short fuse as well. I feel like if you try to use it.
And also, when you react off emotion, you make mistakes. And when you're fighting good guys, you get caught for that.
100%.
Yeah, you're clouded.
Yeah.
100%.
What's your like mindset in a fight then? Are you like trying to stay calm, or how do you go?
Trying to stay calm. Like my fight style is I like to set stuff up and try to make them miss and then try to capitalise on it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have fights where you've literally just got to go in there and try and knock them out, especially if you're losing the fight.
Yeah.
So the mindset will always change. I always like to try and be smarter than my opponent and outthink them. If that's not working, then you've got to go to war with them and try out tough them. So it just depends on the fight and the opponent.
Yeah. What's it like breaking an opponent?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I like personally like making them look stupid. That's like my favourite thing to do is
Really?
making them look
Make 'em
stupid.
look
Yeah.
silly, eh?
Like being able to sweep them and like if they come in, I'll take their front leg out, or just even stopping them in their tracks with a kick. That's the style of fighting I like
That
to
would
do the most.
demoralise them as
Yeah,
well.
and just constantly making them miss. When they miss, you feel like shit. So
Yeah. That's that mind game coming into it as well.
100%, yeah. And
And
just give
it's-
them a little smile here and there. And let 'em
Yeah.
know.
It's just downhill for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a catch-22 there. I feel because I've had people write off my opponents when you do really well. Does that
Yeah.
shit you to tears? 'Cause
Yeah,
that
for sure.
makes me want to headbutt people.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
But-
they're like, he wasn't.
he wasn't
Yeah,
that good.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Like,
the worst.
Go watch his other fights.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I like now I'm sort of at that stage where all these fights are massive fights, so I don't have that too often. But when I was coming up, there was a heap of times like that, and sometimes you'd even question yourself. If you fight really good, you're like, are they that good? No, they were good. They've fought good people. They've
Yeah.
beaten good people, but yeah.
Yeah.
Should we do a few of those? We've probably got 10 minutes left.
Yeah, sweet.
We might just do a few rapid fire questions.
Oh, yeah, sweet.
Cass has got it, just a bit of fun.
I've only got a couple, but we'll fire through them. Elbow or knee?
Elbow,
Punch or kick?
punch,
Cheat meal.
chicken parmigiana from Moto Mio at Pack Fair.
Who knows?
Specific.
Favorite fighter?
So many, I don't even know who to choose. I'm gonna say Pech Bunchu. I used to love watching him growing up.
Most used emoji?
The knuckle emoji.
Yeah, nice. Song that's always on your playlist?
Oh, I wouldn't even know.
Walkout song?
But yeah, walkout song. I'm the Man by 50 Cent.
Dream fight?
Walkout. Purely because he's the same weight, not because he's some famous guy. Just because he's the same weight.
Yeah. Hidden talents?
Don't have any. Oh, I can ride a BMX pretty good.
Alright.
I've seen that. That's
Yeah.
scared me a couple times on your
Yeah.
stories when
Yeah,
you
yeah.
like. Anyway, dogs or cats?
Dogs.
That's us. Everyone's.
That was good. That was
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, they were
That was
good.
sweet. No,
Yeah, they were
well,
good.
thanks. Do you want to add anything to finish or any
Oh,
leaving
just-
thoughts or even reflections for yourself or it's
Just
for
want
the
to thank you
audience?
boys for having me on.
worries.
It's been a pleasure, and yeah, just thank you to all my team and my sponsors if they're watching this. Appreciate you for everything you do. So thank you, boys.
You're the man, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.